Hey, good morning, everyone. I do not see Mike, so I'm going to, as an officer, open the meeting and go ahead. Inspiration first or pledge first? Inspiration first. Yep. Okay. All right. 99%.
It's been ages since we did it right here.
And the pledge isn't even on the
No, yeah. All right. I found a verse to inspire us all this morning. Kind of relates to the theme and to the weather. The brown buds thicken on the trees, unbound the free streams sing, as March leads forth across the leas, the wild and windy spring. That is from Elizabeth Akers Allen. So that is hopefully enough to get us going this morning.
Okay, and if you would stand for the pledge. Suppose I should be doing it here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Does anyone else have any announcements before we get started this morning? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. April 19th and April 20th, which is next month, on a Friday and Saturday, for the Western New York Hydrocephalus Association, we've been afforded the opportunity to volunteer to run a concession stand at the Luke Combs concert. And we are looking for anyone that might be available that would want to help us that day. And if you are, please send me a message or talk to me and I'll get you that information in regards to what it would entail. That's Friday or Saturday, April 19th or 20th, and it's for the Western New York Hydrocephalus Walk. So thank you.
And for those who have not checked as treasurer, I did put the following members in the system. Myself, Carol Ann, Dave Licata, Eric. Okay, gang. He goes, Jason. Gerald Stevens, Jackie, Joe Budniak, Kristen Badger-Bach, Lester, Mark Campos, Margot, Mike Licata, Phil Russell, Sylvia Baptiste, and Tracy. Nancy just gave her the dues, so I will take care of that. And I believe Kate has yours. So if you did it in the last few days, I was doing other work, so I did not do that in the last few days. So that's right. That's right. Thank you for the reminder. Very good. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to mess people up because I do that regularly. I'm going to talk a little bit about maple syrup before we go onto our job holders. Of course, many of us love maple syrup, but there are possible health risks to maple syrup. The first one is its high sugar content. Too much sugar in your diet can cause a wide range of health problems and can also lead to complications in people with diabetes. Other problems include tooth decay. It's not very good for your teeth to have the maple syrup sit in there. There are diabetes complications. And it also has, for 1 tablespoon, 12 grams of sugar, 52 calories, 13 grams, and the vitamin content is almost non-existent. But I'll get down to the benefits in a few minutes. Our Wagmaster for today is Marty Johnson. Marty, would you like to come and tell us what you're going to be doing today?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. First, I would like to introduce my guest. My guest is my neighbor from years ago. Her name is Lily Beth. Lily Beth,
Thank you.
and she is my guest. She came today, and the baked goods are from her and her mother. They have a bakery in Buffalo, and she left information on the table, so help yourself. And Lily Beth Santos Rosario, correct? Okay. And as word Wagmaster today, each of those letters in the word wag stand for part of my role. The word is robust. Robust is an adjective, and it's defined as strong and healthy. Robust, strong and healthy. When used as an object or of an object, it could be considered sturdy in construction. You can use it that way. Or if you're talking of food and wine, it could be strong and rich in flavor and smell. Okay. Used in a sentence along with the theme of maple syrup. The darker the syrup, the more robust the maple flavor. So make sure you use the word robust whenever you speak today, and I'll be keeping track. And as the master, I'll be keeping track of all the uses, filler words, pregnant pauses, ahs, ums, ers, and I'll be recording that. And at the end of the meeting, I'll be letting you know how we did with that. And then as grammarian, I'll be recording all the wonderful uses of the English language, and then English language that I hear that might need to be tweaked a little bit, and I'll try to provide a little, what should I say, a word, more colorful word, if you will, of the English language to help you with your speaking. And I will report back at the end of the meeting. Madam Toastmaster, Beth, thank you.
Okay, our next job holder for today. I do not see Dave Licata. Is Dave online? He'll come eventually. So we'll move on to our jester, Carol Ann. Thank you. You knew.
I did try to look up some jokes regarding maple syrup, but found them all very sappy. So I chose spring break. What did the baker's son do over spring break? He loafed around. What did the dog say once he got on spring break? The potty is now beginning. Where did the egg go for spring break? New York City. Where did the sheep go for spring break? Bahamas. And why do bees stay in their hives during spring break? They're too busy planning their next trip.
Our next job holder is our timer, Mark Campos. He is also our Zoom master, takes care of the voting and all that online. Mark, can you tell us your job?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and our guest, good morning. My job as timer is to make sure we stay within our prescribed timing parameters, typically 5 to 7 minutes for prepared speeches, unless you tell me otherwise, 2 to 3 minutes for evaluations with a 30-second buffer, and table topics is 1.5 to 2 minutes with a 15-second buffer. Please look at the screen. I will spotlight myself when it's time to change the colors, and I will be changing my background green, yellow, or read as needed. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mark. I'm now going to go to Tracy Farrell. This is an attempt for me to not forget Tracy. She is the general evaluator today. So I'm going to make sure that I introduce her. And I don't have to move the microphone.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'm looking forward to a very robust meeting. My job today is to evaluate the meeting, our Toastmaster, and how she conducts that meeting, and also the evaluators and their evaluations. And I'll be reporting back at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next job holder, Mary, has volunteered to take over Quizmaster. So Mary, can you come and tell us about your job? And as she's coming up here, the coffee is ready. The maple syrup is there if you would like to try maple syrup in your coffee.
He told me to just get up here.
So I'll be listening for everybody's listening skills. I'll be listening for everybody's listening skills at the end of the meeting, and then I'll report back.
Bravo. Very good. Thank you.
I'm gonna go. Dave just came in.
Ah,
Can't see him.
no. We'll give him a few minutes. That's okay. And I'll go on to talk a little bit about the benefits of maple syrup because there are some benefits. There are actually quite a few minerals in measurable quantities. Manganese is the largest of what you need. So if you take a tablespoon of maple syrup in your coffee this morning, you're going to get about a third of the manganese that you need for the entire day. And it helps your bones, your skeletons grow. It also slows it helps the wound healing. So I thought that was interesting. It does have small amounts of zinc, copper, calcium, iron, magnesium, and potassium. Real maple syrup, not the fake, Mrs. Butterworth's, whatever, is actually plant-based, so it's rich in antioxidants. One of these, Quebecois, which probably was named that because maple syrup was actually started in Canada. It only exists in pure maple products. One study found that Quebecois killed cervical, ovarian, breast, and colon cancer cells and may behave almost like a common chemotherapy drug. Maple syrup contains insulin. Researchers believe insulin may work with maple syrup's antioxidants and nutrients to boost the growth of good bacteria in the gut. The antioxidants in maple sugar may also protect against liver damage. One study found that maple syrup cuts down ammonia in the blood, which in high levels can cause liver disease. Maple syrup contains low amounts of fructose, which gives it a lower glycemic index than white and brown sugars. So you were teasing me about adding maple syrup to your coffee. It's actually better than adding white sugar. The glycemic index ranks food based on how quickly they cause your blood sugar to rise. In animal studies, which who knows how much that affects us, scientists find that maple syrup may have effects on cholesterol. Not only does it lower cholesterol in mice, it has the potential to prevent inflammation. Being someone who has a problem with inflammation with my asthma, that's a good thing. Research also shows that its effects on brain health is just coming to light, but the finding hints at exciting benefits. It does seem to help prevent some of the cells that develop into Alzheimer's. I will, Dave, are you ready for your quote? There you go.
This is an anonymous quote in which once you hear it, you'll know why. Roses are red, violets are purple, sugar's sweet, and so is maple syrup.
And now we will move on to the portion of the meeting that is our table topics. So Nancy Ferry, do you have some people you would like to ask questions? While you're doing that, I'll go get my coffee and syrup.
She added in syrup and syrup. This is called Table Topics. It is the extemporaneous speaking portion of our meeting. I believe the time is 1.5 to 2. Okay. I always get confused. I need that one written down. And the buffer. Okay. I am going to ask a question of several of our Toastmasters, and they need to use the word of the day and speak about what I invite them to speak about or anything else you'd like to speak about. You can just change the subject. The first person I'd like to call on is Len. I miss you talking, Len. I miss your speeches. And you're so busy over there doing these. I would love to have you come up and tell us if maple syrup has been an important part of your life, if you have a maple syrup story, or you prefer Mrs. Butterworth's.
Thank you, Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and our guests today. Welcome. Maple syrup is very important to me. I like to get mine locally from Wolf's Maple Syrup because Heidi's a friend of mine through the Lockport Locks, who was a client of mine. Maple syrup is just nature's most nearly perfect food. I feel that especially after hearing all the benefits that Beth extolled upon it. Magnesium, it's better than chemotherapy. I mean, we're all set for life here in Western New York. And as much as I hate the cold weather in Western New York, I think it's going to extend the maple syrup season for the growers locally, and that's a good thing. They'll be able to eke another weekend or two out of it. So that's a wonderful thing. I put maple syrup on my waffles, on my pancakes. Well, let me stop there. I have pancakes with my maple syrup because I tend to use a lot of it, okay? I'd be better suited using a bowl than a plate. Now, I was thinking, as I heard Beth talk about this, she's mentioned putting maple syrup in your coffee. Now, I've not done that. It's kind of like an Irish coffee, only a Canadian coffee, right? And then I was recalling back, this was about 5 years ago. Larry's probably familiar with this. There was actually a maple syrup heist in Canada. Somebody stole a whole tanker full of it, hijacked it, okay? And there was a nationwide manhunt for these people. That's how serious they take their maple syrup. It's a delicious condiment for so many things. It's very robust and very healthy for us. And with that, I will turn it back to our topic master.
Thank you, Len. And Dave, you're sitting there eating something. Does that have maple syrup in it? This Dave. That Dave. Shannon, does that have maple syrup in it? Yes? Oh, no. That's what I want to ask you. I want to know, I want you to teach all of us how to say syrup. And in That's right, in sign language. And then also some of the words that you might use in sign language that you might put your syrup onto, or your syrup, or you might put something into your syrup like Lynn. Use the word of the day, robust, and tell us maybe you can, if you want to fit a maple syrup story in there, go right ahead, but we want to know a few ways of saying maple syrup, pancakes, waffles, that kind of thing. You will see Mark Campos timing you. He has a green light, the yellow light, and a red light. His background will turn. So you have to watch Mark Campos to make sure that you stay on time, because we want you to be a qualifying contestant. And use the word robust.
Good morning, everybody. Or should I say, good morning. In the morning, you like to have some things that are sweet. Some of them might be pancakes. You gotta add the little sound. Or you might have some robust syrup on some waffles. I have a story. I was on a trip and they had a waffle maker at the hotel. And the waffle maker was all set up and they had all sorts of wonderful syrup, batter machine. And 5 minutes before I got there, the woman turned the machine the wrong way and all the batter came dripping across the table onto the floor. And my waffles were in jeopardy. I couldn't have my robust syrup on my robust waffles because she pulled the lever instead of pushing it. And I waited and I waited. This is a sign for waiting. I waited and waited for her to get someone to clean it up. This is a sign for nice, but this is the sign for clean. So they had to clean it up before I could eat my waffles. And I really enjoyed that experience, but eventually the waffles came out and they were beautiful. And I'm telling you, I love, now a lot of people say I love you this way, but this is also the sign for love in sign language. I love teaching and I love teaching ASL, and I hope that in this group, I will be able to do it more. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That was fun. Lily, I'm going to add Lily Beth. What a beautiful name. I'm going to ask you if you would be willing to come up. And if you have anything about maple syrup that you would like to talk about, do you put maple syrup on pancakes and waffles? Do you not like maple syrup? Did you ever have real syrup? Do you like Mrs. Butterworth? Tell us what you like about syrup. And the word is robust. Please use that word. Lily is such a, Lily, the name Lily is dear to my heart. It was my great grandmother's name. It's my granddaughter's name, and it's my middle name. So it's just a very sweet name to me. So.
Thank you. I don't like grape maple syrup. But I'm a health nut, so I don't eat it because I want to be robust, but in like stronger form. So I've just been eating more protein and no sugar whatsoever. So I don't really touch maple syrup. And I put honey in my tea. I think that's it. I don't eat my sweets, like stuff that I make. Only the ones that my mom makes. Hers is so much better than mine. I don't know how she does. Like the pumpkin cookies, they're so good. I had like 5 yesterday. I had 5 yes. It was a cheat day. It was my cheat day yesterday. That's about it. So talking. No, I'm from North Carolina, but I've been living here for like 20 years. So I was there for 2 years and then I moved here. And my parents have been living here for like 24 years. So for this bakery, I just want to like give something back to them because they have sacrificed a lot of their time and they were working a lot and I've never really seen them. So for me, this bakery, I can just help them, give them a little something back to them as like a thank you and for being there for me. And even though I was never with my parents and like I didn't really see them a lot, it's like at least like a piece of me trying to help them. So I want to get them tickets so I can send them to Mexico and see my grandparents. So that's what I want to do. That's the whole purpose. Yeah. So I usually do like what people order them. I just give like go to them because I'd rather just like interact with the person and talk to them about like different things because I want to like revamp the menu every month and just bring something new. And I want to get enough like people to help me with it and then open up a bakery next to like the Pizza Hut on Transit because everyone wants pizza and then they go straight to get some sweets after. So I want to do that and help my mom. So it's making her happy. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I will call for a timer's report. Who's our, where are you? I don't see you. Oh, there you are.
I'm here. I'm
Look at the
here.
little
Don't
boxes.
have no fear. The timer is here. Madam Table Topics Master, all three contestants qualified. Len at 2:07, Dave at 2:07, and Lilybeth at 2:04. Madam Toastmaster, or Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much. Actually, we're going to hold off and I'm going to ask a few more people because our second speaker is not here. So we will ask a few more.
Right.
You have a long one? All right, I'll ask one more person.
That's
Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know. Marshall, are you out there? I think I saw you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Marshall, I know there are no maple trees in China. I'm wondering if you are familiar with maple syrup, if it's something that's imported to China. I don't know if you're at all familiar with it. It's a sweet from the maple tree. You tap the maple tree and pour it on pancakes and things like that. If you do not have any experience with maple syrup, what kind of sweet things do you like if you eat sweet things? And maybe what you eat for breakfast. Please use the word of the day, robust.
Thank you, thank you. I want to be robust for many years, and my trainer told me if you want to be robust, you must put on your weight because muscle must grow up with fat. So 3 years before, I became 90 kilos. I was very obesity. And then I checked online. If I want to lose weight, I have to quit all the sweet thing and heavy weights. After I quit all the sweet food and heavy it's like noodles, rice, noodles, rice, all the thing. Just 1 year, I lost 25 kilos. It's very quick way to lose weight. I know Buffalo next to Canada. For the specialty of Canada, 90% about maple. You like this? Chinese people don't usually eat many sweet things, and we couldn't believe why you eat too much sweet food. In my mind, when I was young, I lived in a very poor village, so people very poor and skinny. When I cry, my grandma put some sand sugar on some hot water and I drink after I drunk the sweet water, I will be happy. So that's very interesting. So I know I think only the Korean people like sweet tea, but the American people, you are the most happy people in the world, and most of countries people want to immigrate to the U.S. So why you like sweet food? I can't believe it.
Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Timer, I would like to have you finish your timer's report. Sorry to make the confusion there.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Marshall also qualified. I'm sorry, Marshall went over. Pardon me, he went over at 2:23. So at this point, from a timing perspective, it would be Len, Dave, or Lily Beth.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have Marty Johnson standing on the sidelines, waiting to share whether people use the word of the day, robust.
Thank you, Nancy. Len used the word. David used the word 3 times. Lily Beth used the word once, and Marshall used the word once. That concludes my word master report, and back to Beth, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Always forget how tall you are, Marty. So we have a couple of changes in the agenda. Gerald is not able to speak today. Hence, we had the extra table topics, but we'll go on to Kate is our first speaker. She is evaluated by Jackie Kenny, and Jackie is coming up to tell us about Kate's speech.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Kate is working on a project from leading in any situation, it's called. It's highlighting your leadership skills, and you need to have served as an officer for at least a half term. She will be speaking for 8 to 10 minutes. I'm sure her topic will be robustly discussed. And she will give us plenty to think about this morning. She's doing a project that can call for input from peers, but is choosing not to do that this time. So I'm sure we're going to hear from her again on this subject. Madam Toastmaster.
And Kate's title for today is AM Lockport, April and May Itinerary. Kate, AM Lockport, April and May Itinerary.
All right. Mr. Timer, please do not time me quite yet. I'd like to toast with my maple syrup. We can toast many times in our Toastmaster meetings. Cheers to everybody on this 20-degree morning. It's quite chilly outside. Hopefully you have something to warm you, if not a beverage, your heart and all your friends around you. Thank you so much. And still an announcement before I start, Mr. Timer. I didn't come up to make announcements because I figured I will be standing here at the lectern anyway. I am so thrilled to announce how much of a robust AM Lockport Club are we that we are sending 2 contestants to the district conference. We are I am thrilled as the contest master from last Saturday's Division A contest to announce that the evaluation first place winner, beating out 5 other contenders, is Steve Smith, going to the division. Bravo, Steve Smith. Thank you. And he is going. And then also, Gerald couldn't join us today, but Gerald Dr. Stevens was the international second place winner. Since the top 2 are going, both are going to the district conference. So bravo to them. And I know we'll hear Gerald another day. He couldn't make it today, but he does want to practice that speech again and hear all of our feedback. Perhaps Steve will also be an evaluator again to kind of keep working on those skills. Okay, now we can start the time. Jackie mentioned I'm not looking for feedback or something like that input. I am, except what I didn't do was the 360 evaluation beforehand where I get feedback from folks. What I'm going to focus on is our itinerary. David knows, David dubbed me David. Now we have 3 Davids, David Jones, David Licata, David Shannon. Bravo, we have all these members. David dubbed me many years ago the cruise director because I'm kind of the social chair. And this year I happen to also be your president. We have such a busy April and May. Oh my goodness, folks. April is 11 days away. 11 days away? What is April 1st? Well, it's April Fool's Day. This year it's Dingus Day, which is an excellent Polish holiday celebration. And it's our 40th anniversary for our club. We have a big anniversary party coming up. What I'm going to do though is talk about all of our activities April through May. I will condense it into an email and you can read it in an email to follow. I am excited to go through everything. We also have some due dates, so let's get to it. What do we have on our calendar? Well, what's already every Thursday except Thanksgiving throughout the year? Our regular meetings. Fantastic. Can't wait to see you every Thursday online or in person. Great to see everybody on Zoom today as well. Oh, we never announced who's actually here. Maybe we'll do that later. I think you can all kind of see each other, but we'll do that. I won't include it into my speech. We usually like to announce who's online and also who's in the room so we all can kind of get an idea of who's in the house at our AM Lockport meetings. Okay, what else is monthly? Or instead of weekly, monthly. The first Thursday of each month in April, May, and June is our open house. Oh, I'm learning and watching our ASL. So our open house. So the first Thursday of every month is going to be our open houses, right? So that's April 4th. That's coming up. What's also every month, but the last Wednesday of every month? Last Wednesday is the officer meeting on Zoom. So the last Wednesday of each month is just the officers, not everybody else, unless you want to join us. And that's also monthly. Okay, let's get to the other fun activities we have coming up and the reminders. Some of these are save the dates. Most of you have heard this. And who is welcome? Everyone in the room, everyone on Zoom, your friends and family, other Toastmasters, guests. We want everyone to join us at our activities. We're very excited. What's coming up then? To celebrate our 40th anniversary as a club, that's April 6th. Reminder that our dinner party is April 6th. Folks, that's in like 16 days. 16 days. Some of you have already bought your dinner tickets. Fantastic. Some of you have not, but now we have it set up on the PayPal link on our website, or you can write a check that my mother, Beth, our treasurer, would happily take. I'll go through the numbers of everything as well. We're still in our first 40 buyers. Remember, the first 40 ticket holders get their ticket for $43. $43 includes tax, includes tip, includes buffet dinner and dessert. It will be a great time at that canals. Some of us call it Canal Side. It's the Canal Cruises on Market Street. We're there at 5 p.m. Saturday, April 6th. If we're going in order, let's see. I'm going to scale back a moment because I need to know who's coming before April 6th. You know how dinners work. You know how restaurants work. Every 5 years we do this for a big milestone party. I can't tell them that day how many people are coming. I have to tell them pretty much next week or the few days after. So I'm going to say we have the deadline of next Saturday, March 30th. I would love next Saturday, March 30th, for you to have already paid for your dinner ticket so I can confirm how many dinners, etc. Reminder, it's $43 for the first 40 ticket holders. We're not close to that yet, so plan on paying $43. If we go above 40, then it's $50 per person. So get your tickets in for $43. It's at 5 p.m. That's when the bar opens, and reminder, it's a cash bar, not an open bar. It's a cash bar at 5 p.m. and dinner is served at 6. We'll have a program. It'll be a lot of fun and we'll enjoy each other's company and have an amazing milestone party. And again, that's Saturday, April 6th, but your money is due by next Saturday, the day before Easter. Okay, another deadline for next Saturday, the day before Easter. I need the money for My Fair Lady. If you're joining us at Shaw Festival in May, that's exciting. That is Saturday, May 18th. It's a matinee. Super excited. That, I don't know what that meant, but nice. Dave's getting 4. I think we've sold about 7 right now. I have a group block of 16. So that's all I have. So if you want tickets to My Fair Lady, it is Saturday, May 18th. We haven't been back to Shaw Festival. That's in Niagara-on-the-Lake. So you need to be able to get across the border into Canada. We're leaving from Lockport and carpooling at 9:30 unless you want to go yourself. We'll have lunch at a location to be decided, just like we've done in the past. We meet at the biggest theater in Niagara-on-the-Lake. There's 3 theaters there. That's why it's Shaw Fest. We'll meet there for a group photo at 1:30 in the lobby by the bar, 1:30. The matinee starts at 2. The tickets are $62 American. You have to pay me. We're not going through Toastmasters. I already paid the full deposit for it. So I need $62 per person. That includes the tip. That's the exchange rate, everything. That is for the matinee, early season. We go by the best price. We get in early. They still are in full costume. It's kind of like dress rehearsal time. So then we're maybe going to even hang out for a barbecue afterwards at Dave Licata's friend's house. So it will be quite an excursion on May 18th. Did the red light come on already? Oh yeah, I was wondering. That's okay. All right, this is 8 to 10 minute long speech instead of 5 to 7. But you know me, you should cut me off when you get. Okay, so I threw out that deadline, but I'd like to go back to kind of the way April is looking. Because March 30th is the deadline for the dinner ticket, deadline for the Shaw Festival tickets, because I'm supposed to pay by April 3rd. I have to pay the rest of the balance due, which is like $900. So I'm not paying that myself. I just had to pay for my gas lines being replaced, and my dog had surgery. So I don't have enough money to cover that, guys. Anyway, $62 for the Shaw Fest tickets. We're going to have a great time. Going back to April, so we have April 1st is our anniversary. April 4th is our April open house. April 6th is our party. And then the week after that, 2 weeks after that, April 18th, Dr. Gerald Stevens, our immediate past president, will present our slate of officers by April 18th. The week after that is April 25th. We will have our elections. We're supposed to do it the first week of May, but we'll have an open house in May, and we don't want to do an open house on the same day as elections. So we will have our elections of officers on April 25th. Then on Friday, April 26th, some of us are going to Rochester and spending the night, and a bunch more of you are coming out during the day for what now? What's on Saturday, April 27th? The district conference. Thank you. And are we going to support Steve and Gerald? Yes, in the contest. So remember, you need to get your $99 registration for that. I know there's a lot of money, but this is how it is. We haven't talked money in a long time. So the $99 is the discount fee for the registration. If you didn't already get the Black Friday special, a lot of us did that early, but it's $99 until not long, like I think next the same day, like March 30th or March 31st. Then it bumps up to 125. And then on April 15th, they're not taking any more registrations for the district conference in Rochester. No at the door tickets. So register for that conference, get the $99 price by the end of this month. Okay, woot, woot. And then May 2nd is our open house I mentioned. May 18th is our Shaw Fest excursion. And May 29th is our officers meeting, since that's the last Wednesday of May. I think I'll wrap it up. I got the yellow light, so let's move it along. I know that was a whirlwind. I'll condense it into an email, and some of it will be on Facebook. If you have any questions, you do know where to find me. Thank you, everybody, and back to you, Mom. Thank you. Sorry. I don't know what's going on there. Sorry. I moved your stuff.
Oh, that's fine. While Kate's talking about, the money we owe and all that kind of stuff, I did want to add as treasurer that we voted to go with the $43 for the party. However, I do want you to be aware that if you paid on PayPal, the club doesn't get $43 because PayPal takes the fee. We didn't really consider that when we voted to decrease the pay. I don't think we're going to change it now, but I think we need to be aware of that, not only for dues, but for parties, things like this. If you pay on PayPal, the club doesn't make as much as if you give me the cash or a check that I deposit. So it's something we need to be aware of, concerned of going forward, I think. Kind of up to you. I know. Oh, like you paid on PayPal anyway. You did not. So he won't let you go on PayPal. Oh, so apparently Dave is dangerous when he's paying online for things. Okay. To note. Moving along, as I mentioned, we do not have a second speaker today. We only have a third speaker, which is the second speaker. But our second speaker today is going to be evaluated by Mike Florio, who is online, I believe. Mike?
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, I will be evaluating Larry McKenzie, very robust speaker for sure. And Larry will be speaking from Pathways this morning, and he will be in the engaging humor area. And he'll be speaking from elective 3. It will be inspire your audience, and it will be 5 to 7 minutes. I look forward to it. Do you have the speech? It's what's in your hat? What's in your hat? I don't know. What's in the hat? I think we'll find out, and I look forward to it. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mike. Okay.
Well, thank you. Before we begin with the timer, if I may, let me bring this back so you can see it. I do have something that I wanted to say in regards to maple syrup. Last year at the Celtic Festival, there was a gentleman there who was selling maple syrup, but it was aged in a bourbon barrel. That's exactly what I said. Now that is really good in your coffee because it has that little bite to it. So if you're at the Celtic Festival this year, which is actually the 14th and 15th of September, check it out. It's in the Great Hall, just so you know. Okay, we can begin with our time. Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? What's in a hat? I have a plethora of hats that I have collected over the years, and each one of them has a different meaning to me. Today, I brought 11 of them, maybe 12. I lost count. But what I'm going to do is I have a speech actually prepared for each one of these hats. But I'm not going to choose which one I'm going to do because I'm going to reach out to my audience and ask someone to pick a hat. And I'd like to ask, yes, Dave? Yellow. Yellow? Pick the yellow hat? Okay. Yellow hat, that'll be my first portion. And our second portion, how about another? Somebody else want to pick a hat? The red plaid. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start with these two, and if I'm still within the time, we'll pick another hat. First of all, the yellow hat. If anybody knows about Live Strong, Live Strong is Lance Armstrong, was his theme. The yellow hat signified his jersey that he used to wear because he was the leader of the pack. Now, Lance Armstrong had a bad rap towards the end of his career, but during the time when he was at the top of his game riding in the bicycle in the Tour de France and what have you with his bike racing, Live Strong had a special meaning. I used to wear a bracelet on my arm, and it meant a lot to me during the years of 2005 through 2009. And why is that? Because during that time, I had a severe accident, which a lot of you already know about. And there's times during those portions of our life where we don't know about what's going to happen tomorrow. We sometimes, because of pain issues and other things, you just don't want to go on. And certain things like this, Live Strong, became a motto for me because inside the hat, it also has a group of numbers, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inside the hat. What did that mean? I'm not going to tell you. Those were for his medals, yes, but it meant something different to me. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 were the days of the week. For quite a while, I was on a hospital bed and I couldn't go from point A to point B. And I had to use a walker. I had to get help to get out of bed. And each day, my wife would write a 3x5 card with a Bible verse. And we'd put it about another foot away each day on the floor. They'd get me out of bed. I'd get in my walker and I'd walk to the next card. And that's about all I could do. It took me more than the 7 days to make it to the actual bathroom. And that was my goal. It took me 27 days to make it to the bathroom, which is in 3 rooms from where I was at in the house. It was a milestone. So each day, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 were for the days of the week for me. So that was my Live Strong hat. That was the meaning of that hat. So when I wear that, it reminds me to keep looking forward. The red hat, the red plaid. Who chose the red plaid? Nancy. It is one of my Irish hats. As you can see inside, it says it's a Hannah hat made in Ireland. This hat is special to me for a lot of reasons. One, I used to wear it at the holiday time around Christmas every year, but it was also a remembrance to me for the very first Bills game that I went to with my grandson. He's my oldest grandson. He graduates in May from the University of Buffalo with 2 majors. He's going to be an aeronautical engineer, and he also has another degree that he's graduating with at the same time, which is also in engineering. And he will be moving to Binghamton. This game was a game back, oh gosh, I believe he was 8 years old at the time. It was a Tennessee Titans game. We went to the game and we went with a group of people on a bus. We tailgated. If you've ever been to a Bills game, tailgating is where it's at. But I had an 8-year-old with me. So I was drinking Pepsi that day. Except when we got into our seats, which was in an end zone corner. We were there and a lot of the other people were drinking things that maybe had something into it other than the Pepsi. My grandson had a Tennessee Titans jersey on. There was a group of people sitting over next to us over here. And this gentleman who was, I would say, drinking a lot of the bourbon syrup, had a Buffalo Bills Jim Kelly Hall of Fame jersey that was signed that he had been wearing. And he came over to my grandson and he said, "What are you doing with that jersey?" And my grandson said, I like the team. He says, "Not today." And he took off his Buffalo Bills Hall of Fame jersey. He put it on my grandson. He said, "You wear this if you're sitting in our section, and you give it back to me at the end of the game," because he had another Bills shirt underneath. Fast forward, 3rd quarter. They're not selling any more beer, but they're throwing popcorn all around in the area. And there was one guy passed out. So they were throwing things and the guy got his popcorn thing and threw the whole thing and hit this guy in the head. It happened to be the guy that gave my grandson the Jim Kelly Hall of Fame signed jersey. Well, a fight ensued. And what happened next? The ushers escorted this gentleman up the aisle and out of the stadium. Well, we enjoyed the rest of the fourth quarter. And to this day, my grandson and I went to a game 2 years ago, year and a half ago. He wore that same jersey that day. And it was a game in December. And I wore the hat for the second time with him at a game. So it meant a lot to me. And as you can see, I'm supposed to inspire you today. And the inspiration part of my speech is this. When I came here today, I had 11 different hats on the table. Technically, I had 11 different speeches that I was going to be using. I didn't know who was going to pick what. So when you're looking for something to do as far as a speech or a topic, you have a story in just about everything that you do. Use your personal stories, even if you're telling us a speech that may be a technical speech. I see the red light. I got still 18 seconds. Use your stories to enhance your speeches. Thank you. Now that the timing has stopped, I just wanted to throw something in as far as I'm going to be the Toastmaster next week. I took over for David Jones, who will not be able to be with us. And we're going to expand on the hat theme, and I'll get notes out to everybody in regards to that for next week's theme. Madam Toastmaster.
Okay, do I have a timer's report? Mark?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I am happy to report that both speakers qualified, Kate at 9:32, Larry at 7:15, and I would like to apologize to Kate. As I was juggling this morning, I completely missed Jackie telling me that it was an 8 to 10 minute speech. I gambled that it was 5 to 7. I didn't get away with it. It wouldn't be the first time, and it probably will not be the last time that I gambled and lost. But apologies to both Kate and also to Jackie, because I really wasn't listening as well as I should have been. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mark. So to continue on with the meeting, how is maple syrup made? To make maple syrup, you drive a tap into the bark of a maple tree and collect the sap that flows out. This sap is then concentrated by boiling, which increases the sugar content from about 2% to around 66%. This process also darkens, makes more robust the color. As a side note, I recommend leaving this to the professionals. And this is why. A few weeks ago, in the middle of everything else going on in our lives, my son-in-law's uncle, who's been making his own maple syrup for years, something went wrong, or he didn't watch it carefully, something, and he burned half of his house down. So please leave it to the pros. They usually have buildings that they cook the maple syrup in that's a ways away from their house. That's my recommendation. Don't try to do it yourself. I did find a recipe online for doing it yourself. It sounded terrible, so I didn't even include it. So, one thing that I found interesting, any species of maple tree can yield maple syrup, including sugar, black, red, and silver, and box elder trees can also produce the sap needed for maple syrup. but you'll find the highest concentration of sugar in the sugar maple. Maple syrup is graded based on two things, color and flavor. USDA, of course, sets guidelines for how to classify maple syrup. 4 grades. There is golden, the lightest color and delicate flavor, usually comes from the first sap during the sugaring season. Amber is a rich color, a bit darker than the golden, with a full body taste. What is considered classic maple syrup? There is also dark. It's stronger than the first two, with a more pure maple flavor. And then there is very dark. It is the darkest color. It is the most robust flavor, very good for cooking. And I will expound a little on the little interesting tidbit that Len brought up about the theft of maple syrup. It was over the course of several months in 2011 and 2012. A team of thieves, 4 people were arrested eventually, stole approximately 2,700 tons of maple syrup from a strategic maple syrup reserve maintained in Quebec. The theft has been popularly dubbed as the Great Maple Syrup Heist. At the time, the stolen maple syrup was valued at nearly $18 million. One of the largest thefts in Canadian history. The Sûreté de Quebec, the provincial police force, determined that the theft was an inside job. So the police focused on those people who had access to the warehouses. It was then established that the group of thieves were taking barrels of syrup, siphoning the syrup into their own barrels. Sometimes the empty barrels were filled with water before being returned to the strategic reserve. However, they were caught because they didn't refill some of the barrels. And when the gentleman was going to check on the barrels, one fell off. It was empty. So that is really what raised the flag that we have a problem here. And the thieves were eventually caught. Only 450 tons were recovered, and much of that had to be destroyed because it was no longer safe for human consumption. Obviously, maple syrup business is very important in Canada and northern United States, worth a lot of money, which I found out, and now you have also. I would like to call up our general evaluator. Oh, you do the evaluators first. Yeah. Would you like to introduce the evaluators? I would love to. I don't know what I'm doing.
She's awesome. So our first evaluator will be Jackie Kenny, who is evaluating Kate Ford. Jackie.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning again, everyone. Kate gave us a very robust overview of what we have coming up in the next couple of months. And her enthusiasm was, of course, generating more enthusiasm amongst all of us. We know dates and costs, so we can prepare our own calendars and get ready for all the events that are coming up. We appreciate that. I liked that you included a toast and you used the word of the day. It's something we always intend to do, but then you get going and you sort of lose track of what you want to include. you still need to slow down. Kate said, yeah, I know. You got going so fast for a while there that it was crazy to follow you. It helps if you use the formal structure of a speech and try to sort of stay within those confines so that people can follow what you're telling them and keep track. But, you know, Kate, we know you. So no apologies. You don't apologize. You gave us a good speech with a lot of information in it. And if people wrote notes, then they have the information. They can look forward to your email, which will tell us more. So the method here and the goal was to show your leadership abilities and basically prove to us that you are a leader in the Toastmaster format. And I think you've done that because you've organized a lot of events and encouraged a lot of people to participate. And you put yourself out on a limb by using your own credit card to make reservations in a quite a large sum of money. So hopefully everyone participates as much as we expect they will. And I know we're all looking forward to these events and spending time together outside of the club meeting. So thank you, Kate, for doing all of that and giving us all the relevant information. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Would you like to introduce the second one or you want me to? Okay. Our second evaluator today is Mike Florio, who will be evaluating Larry McKenzie. Mike?
And fellow Toastmasters, our guest, Lillian, and especially Larry. Okay, I mean, Larry's DTM. He did such a wonderful job today, and he did so many things right. Okay, right from the jump. The title, "What's in a Hat?" Well, that drew everybody in. They're going already. What's in a hat? I don't know. What's he talking about? What's he going to talk about today? And then he pulled the table up. I guess the table could have been there already, but there was somebody else speaking, and it was a little bit out of the shot when from my vantage point. But then he pulled it in, and right from there, we're going, okay, wow, what is all this? And he immediately got into the explanation, and he pulled the mic out and walked around and talked very confidently. You could tell that with Larry, always with his speeches, you know that. And he let the audience again pick what the hat was. He didn't care, right? I mean, he's that good that he just said, all right, you know what? I know all these, no notes, nothing. You pick it, I'll do it. And of course, you know, somebody yells out, and the yellow one, I honestly didn't know that Larry had been in an accident, and I thought this was going to be a humorous speech, but then Larry always just kind of draws you in, grabs something of his personal life, right, that we didn't know, and we didn't know the struggle that he had, and that it meant that much to him, a certain hat, and that one hat was inspiring, really, to everyone. What could he have done more, I guess, in it? There wasn't that much humor in that, but how could there be? The story with his son, where, I mean, his grandson rather, where he even got a little animated on the fight with at the Bills game. I thought that was wonderful. He did an excellent job, and how could he improve? I guess this is worthy of being a contestant, you know, a speech that he would bring to a contest. or possibly, maybe he could bend the rules a little bit and send it to 8 or 10 minutes so that he could grab a few more hats. That's what I would think. In the end, he tied it all together and inspired us to use our own hats and say to Toastmasters that, you know what? Everybody has a story and it lies somewhere. And I have a speech next week, and you know what? He's inspired me. This hat, you'll know why I wear it. Madam Toastmaster.
Cover, or maybe Madam General Evaluator. We're all taking turns today.
Trying to do the treasurer's job at the same time. Okay, I can do this. Sure, I can. So we're going to move along and turn the meeting over to Tracy for now. Oh, timers report for evaluators.
Madam Toastmaster, I am happy to report that both evaluators qualified, Jackie at 255 and Mike at 308. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mark. Okay.
Thank you. So we're playing revolving head person up here. I'm going to start, I'll give you a quick evaluation of the meeting. And I have to say, I love the theme of maple syrup. This was a great theme, and you gave us so much good information about it. I sort of like maple syrup because I've given speeches about shop local and how do you find local sugar? You can't. So you have to substitute maple syrup. So that is one of my go-tos for it. I also love, she was so agile. One of her speakers didn't show up and it was like, okay, at the last minute, we're going to expand our table topics. So she was very good about that. She was also, I like the synergy in Toastmasters too, where it's like, oh yeah, I forgot this. So let's have the general manager or evaluator do this. Let's have Kate Banks come up when she's doing her treasury duties. It works out only here in Toastmasters. Jackie, you were a fantastic evaluator. I love the comment about let's use some structure in our speeches because I think that's really important in what we do. And you also touched on the purpose of the speech. I think a lot of evaluators forget that to mention every speech in Toastmasters has a purpose and we need to look into those purposes. Mike, you also used the sandwich approach. You did a great evaluation. I know you didn't give much improvement. And to be honest, I don't know what you could have said either. Larry's a fantastic speaker, and I wouldn't have been able to tell you what you could have said either. Everybody here in Toastmasters does their job. We're a fantastic club because of it. And now we're going to hear from our reports. Our first is Wagmaster. I will call him last. Is there anybody else? Our quiz master, and we don't have a quiz master. I'm going to call back our Wagmaster.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Mary is our quiz master. Yay.
Then I came up with 5 questions.
That's perfect. All right, thank you.
How many tablespoons are in maple syrup of sugar?
13.
What is why is maple syrup so important to people in Canada? Money? What is the deadline for the party?
Good question. Anybody? Come on.
It was Jackie that helped me come up with these questions.
What is the date?
March 30th. What was Kate's goal for her speech?
I do know leading any situation.
Leading in any situation. And what is the deadline if you want to go to the Shaw Festival?
Same day. Same deadline. Same deadline.
No, the day, I mean,
Oh.
May 18th.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mary. We really appreciate that.
So now I'm gonna call up our Wagmaster. Tell us how we did. As far as Oz, our grammar, and the word of the day. Marty Johnson.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator Tracy. Start at the top of the list using the word robust. Our Toastmaster of the day, Beth Banks, used the word twice. Evaluator Jackie Kenny used the word. Speaker Kate Orr used the word. Evaluator Mike Florio used the word. Excuse me. Anyone that I missed used the word. I'm going to move into the Master report. Our ahs and ums, they're getting used fewer a number of times during the meeting. Today, I had an ah in my introduction of the word, and Len had a hushed ah. Let me see. Lily Beth had an ah. Marshall had an ah. I heard a couple so's. I know Edna Stubbs always would keep track of so's. And I only heard a couple, so that's a good thing. And moving on to my grammarian report, I have a fairly robust listing. I liked Beth Banks' phrase. She said, leave it to the pros when she was talking about there was an incident, it was a disaster. She said, leave it to the pros. Mark Campos, I liked when Mark was talking about the timing for one of the speeches, and he said, I gambled with the timing. I like that. Mary Elizabeth had good grammar today. There was one point in time when she was speaking a moment ago, she said, what is why do versus why do when you were talking about the Canadian maple syrup from Canada? Just like why do versus had two thoughts in your mind, I think. We tend to do that sometimes. We'll start to think of saying something and then we're thinking two things at once and we sometimes mix the words. Kate, you said you were talking about what else is monthly, and you had an and or mixed in there versus just using probably just or, I guess would be the correct use. And then you mentioned, you said, if we are going in order, let's see, versus I would say somehow a transition to the next item the next or the second one or the third one. Let's see, Larry McKenzie. I like the phrase, I have a plethora of hats today. And Larry, I heard you say you, and you had I think it would be called a double start. You said you just don't want to go on versus you just don't want to go on. And Jackie, I like the phrase when you're speaking the evaluation, you said, it was crazy to follow you. And then one thing I would like to correct or change up a little bit, you said, and I don't, you may have done this on purpose, you said kind of, sort of, follow an outline of a speech versus following the outline of a speech. I think you did that on purpose, kind of, sort of. Mike Florio, you said he did an excellent job versus he did an excellent job. And I liked Mike towards the end of the evaluation, you said you inspired me with the hats. And last but not least, Tracy, our general evaluator of the day, said she was speaking of Jackie, were a fantastic evaluator. Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Beth Banks. That's my report. Thank you. Thank you.
Before I turn it over to Tracy, I do want to just let you guys know there are copies of 5 different recipes over there that I found online that sounded good to me anyway. Maple walnut blondies, cinnamon maple toaster tarts. So it's basically make your own Pop-Tarts. Maple Dijon vinaigrette, maple creme brulee, and maple bacon dip. So these recipes are over there. Maple walnut blondies. No, actually, my nickname in high school was Shorty. So I will turn the meeting over to Tracy for now. Thank you.
Actually, Beth, you're gonna stay up here? Oh, fantastic. So we will start with Dave. Why don't you come up?
Oh, he's not a guest anymore.
Oh, you're not?
He's a member.
You know what? Fantastic. We have a new member. Lily, can you come up and tell us what you thought about our meeting? Tell us what you think about us.
Yeah. No pressure. Yeah. Okay.
I really enjoyed it, and think I'm gonna join Toastmasters because I had a lot of fun. I feel like I could learn a bit more about speaking in front of everyone because I'm really shy. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Like what it's called. So the bakery is called Aggie's, and it stands for always giving good, interesting, and exquisite sweets. And I'm gonna leave my phone number so you guys can text me anytime. And then I'll just like send you menus, and I'm also on Facebook.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. And Lily, you are in the right place. If you knew some of our stories when we first started. So I think since we have everybody in, all we have to do is announce the winners, correct? Is there any announcements? We're there. We're gonna announce our winners.
Okay.
Drum roll, please. The best evaluator is
The best evaluator was Mike Florio.
oh, Mike's online. Thank you, Mike.
Mike's online.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And our best table topics is Lilybeth.
Woo! Come on up. Lily, come on up. You are leaving here with an official ribbon. Congratulations.
And our best speaker for the day.
Everybody ready? Our best speaker is Larry McKenzie. Best speaker. Congratulations. Thank you.
Can I put it on my hat?
You can.
Sure. Right.
Who's in? Who's not in? Why not?
I'm not in, Larry.
All right, Mike, I'll draw your number. Want me to
Great
announce it?
job.
Yes.
All right, 37824 94.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Darn. I was like, maybe it's me. No, I pulled it out of the hat. If I was gonna set it up, it would have been 9-0. Oh.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Lily. Thank you for coming to our meeting. It's a sign that you must be here. If there are no more announcements, I'm going to give it to our Toastmaster to close us out.
Okay. No. Yes, Larry McKenzie will be the Toastmaster for next week. Did you give us a theme? Hats. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right. In that
Hats.
case, I will officially adjourn the meeting.